Hello, it's October 13th, and today I watched The Little Shop of Horrors, my 13th movie for 2016's Horror Movie Marathon Fest. Now, I'm a huge fan of Little Shop of Horrors. I've seen it many times. So today I decided to do something a little different, and I watched the Mummy and the Monkey episode of The Little Shop of Horrors. The Mummy and the Monkey are horror hosts, and I'll get back to them in just a moment. But first, I want to talk about this movie, The Little Shop of Horrors. It's from 1960. It's a Roger Corman film, not a musical. Of course, the musical is based on this, but this is not a musical. It's a horror, definitely horror comedy, and it stars Jonathan Hayes, Jackie Joseph, Mel Wells. Dick Miller is in this. He's a face that would be familiar to a lot of people. And a little actor by the name of Jack Nicholson is in this film. And I hear people say, oh, Jack Nicholson has a cameo in this movie. And I think they may even say it on here. But I'm not sure that that's accurate to say Jack Nicholson has a cameo, because to me that implies a big star has a small role in a film. But when this movie was made, Jack Nicholson was not a big star. If you go to IMDb and you go all the way down, start at the beginning of his career, this movie is his fifth credit. So he only did four things, according to IMDb. Don't know how accurate that is, but if we take that as accurate, he only did four things before this movie. So he's just a bit player in the movie. I don't see it as a Jack Nicholson cameo. But anyway, that's just me. A little something I'm babbling about. But he does a great job. Jack Nicholson does. Everybody in here, I think, does a fantastic job. They're incredibly funny. The script is very witty, in my opinion. There are a lot of malapropisms, if that's how you pronounce it. Malaprops, which is when somebody uses the wrong word, and it's a similar word, or they say, like, for example, at one point Audrey says something like, "I'm so hungry I could eat a hearse," instead of horse. But there's a lot of that goes on in here. If there's anybody that doesn't know, it's the story of Seymour. He works at a flower shop, Mushnick's flower shop, and he's going to get fired. But he says, "Hey, I've got this plant that I created, and maybe it'll bring in some business," essentially. And it's something, he crossbred a Venus flytrap with something else, and it turns out this plant is carnivorous. And so the more blood and meat that it gets, the bigger it gets, and Seymour ends up having to feed humans to the plant. And as I said, I've always loved this movie. When I was just a wee little lad, this movie actually scared me. I was afraid to go out into the backyard in my bare feet because I thought there might be little carnivorous plants that were going to eat my toes. That's no joke. I actually thought that and would not go into the backyard if I didn't have shoes on. That's how long I've enjoyed this movie, since I was young enough for that to be a thing. Okay, it was actually last week that I felt that way. But and as I said, I've seen this many, many times, and I love it every time. I'm never disappointed in it. So, as I said, I decided, since I have seen it so many times, that I'd watch it in a different way, as it were. And that's where The Mummy and the Monkey come in. And I'm wearing my Mummy and the Monkey t-shirt right here that I recently purchased. So as I said, The Mummy and the Monkey, it's Janet Decay and Grim Gorey. And they're horror hosts in the vein of Elvira, Svengoolie, Big Chuck and Houlihan, which became Big Chuck and Little John, Ghoulardi, Superhost. A bunch of those I named are regional to this area, Cleveland. And I'm sure you folks out there had your regional horror hosts. Right now, they're basically just on YouTube or there's some sort of site or something called Betamax, I'm not sure because I don't have it. I've not watched any of their stuff that way. I watch their stuff on YouTube, or now on DVD. I met them at Cinema Wasteland a couple of weeks ago and picked up some of their DVDs, and I had to get this again because I love this movie so much. But what they do, excuse me, much like horror hosts of the past, they have little funny clips, and Janet Takei has her rotten reels, and in this case, because the movie is Little Shop of Horrors, the rotten reels are trailers for killer plant movies, old killer plant movies. So you've got that, and then you've got some more funny stuff with the two of them, and then Grim Gory has his eerie cinematary, is what they call it, and he's the one that basically shows us the movie. And if this were on TV, basically whenever there would be a commercial break is when you would have these little skits or these little things that they do. Since this is not on TV at the moment, it just sort of, these things just sort of break up the movie. So you'll watch it. Let's say the movie's 90 minutes. You might see 20 minutes of it, and then you get a little break, and then another 15, and then there's a little break of these little things that they do. And they're funny. I mean, they're all horror monster based things, but very light and funny things. So, and I really enjoy the characters of Janet Takei and Grim Gory. They're a lot of fun. Like I said, I got to meet them. They're very nice people. So it's not a bad way to watch this movie. They're actually on season 2 of their show. I believe they only have 2 episodes out so far, and they've added, I don't know if they did this in season 1. This was season 1, episode 2, and they didn't do this thing that I'm about to say. So I don't know if they added it later in season 1 or if it's brand new for season 2, but they've added in sound bites and sound effects, funny things, into whatever movie it is we're watching. I think Ghoulardi did that. I don't know about anybody else. So, for example, one of the movies from season 1, anytime somebody closed a door, definitely a car door, I'm not sure if it was any door, but definitely anytime someone closed a car door, there was sound of breaking glass as if they slammed it so hard the glass broke. And I recognized sound bites from Ren and Stimpy, other places. So it's, a little more comedy. So that's The Mummy and the Monkey. That's what they do. And it's a lot of fun. So, but they didn't do that in this movie. There was none of the funny sound bites and stuff. Which I've seen this movie enough that I wouldn't mind if they had added some of that stuff, but they didn't, and I still love the movie. So let's see. Does that cover everything? Roger Corman. The movie came out in 1960. Jack Nicholson's in it. Everybody does a great job. I really love, did I say Mel Wells? Is that the name? Mel Wells, I believe, is the guy that plays Mr. Mushnick. I love his character. I love the way he's played. I love the way he speaks. And as I said, the repartee within the movie, the cadence of the way people talk and converse, very, very nice. The music, I love the music. I don't know if this is accurate at all. I think of it as sort of beatnik music. For some, I don't know why. That's just kind of, the music always just makes me think of those stereotypical, at least in shows and movies, or at least ones being made fun of, those like beatnik clubs where everybody's just snapping their fingers and smoking cigarettes in cigarette holders and everything. And again, I don't know that this assessment is accurate at all. That's what the music makes me think of. But I love the music in this movie. Um, so if you've never seen the original Little Shop of Horrors, check it out. I believe it was shot in like 3 days, which is just amazing. That's what I heard. I heard somebody like challenged Roger Corman to make a movie in 2 days or 3 days or whatever it was, and he's like, "Yeah, I can do that," and he did it. Um, but check it out. It's fun. It's terrifying. Um, I mean, it is about a giant carnivorous plant, and there's a lot of funny, goofy stuff. Seymour's mom, hilarious. Um, but it's still, I mean, it still has murder and a plant that's eating people and stuff. So, really, a good probably my favorite Roger Corman movie. Um, and check out The Mummy and the Monkey. I'm going to I've been putting up links for trailers for all the movies I've talked about. But since their stuff is all on YouTube, I'm going to put up a link to this specific, not just the movie Little Shop of Horrors, but The Mummy and the Monkey presents Little Shop of Horrors. So if you want to check that out, maybe I'll put a link for the trailer as well if I can find one. But I'm definitely going to have a link for this if it works. And check out The Mummy and the Monkey on Facebook and YouTube and their uh, their website, mummyandthemonkey.com. I don't know if, I assume these are all for sale. They're movies. I picked up 4 of them at Cinema Wasteland, and they had plenty of others. And they have all sorts of just weird, random goodies for sale on their site. But check them out. So that's it for October 13th, the 2016 Horror Movie Marathon Fest. Little Shop of Horrors presented by The Mummy and the Monkey. Check them both out, and I'll see you tomorrow.